I'm Seaman Alexander Roberts, and you're watching the 70.
Coming up, sailors sign on to serve once again. Shuffle up and deal. Plus, there's no joking around with the Batman.
When a recruit enters boot camp, it can be overwhelming. The daily challenges make it hard to remember why they joined the Navy in the first place. But for one sailor, it was easy to remember why he raised his right hand, his mom. Seaman Kevin Harbach explains how one Sears employee broke the mold of his life and did something his mother could brag about.
Seaman Ryan Canada wasn't thinking about his future or where life was going to take him in 5 years. He was content working at Sears and letting his hair grow until one day a Navy recruiter paid him a visit.
And I was hammering something down. I love working with my hands. I was hammering some mats down. And he walked by and was like, "You like you'd be a good asset to the Navy." I told him, I said, "Nah, no sir, it's not for me."
But this got him thinking more about where he was headed, and he realized it was time to make a change.
"Mom, I'm ready to cut my hair." That's my mama's, that's my number one. I was like, "Mom, I'm ready to cut my hair." She's like, "You for real or you just playing?" And I grabbed the scissors and I cut one of them off. And she was like, and then she just grabbed the scissors and started cutting them, helping me cut them. And I was like, I'm thinking about joining the Navy.
And like any mom, she had her doubts whether or not her son would be put in harm's way.
She cried a little bit, but it was okay.
He wouldn't see his mother for another 3 months.
We walked into the gym. The first thing I did was look around. And for some reason, I spotted her. I started crying. I was like, God, I ain't seen my mom in so long. Because I never really been too far from home too much. And she was like, just waving, smiling, acting crazy. My mom was goofy just like me, just smiling, acting crazy. And it was just lovely.
After boot camp, his Navy career would let him live out some of his dreams as he visited exotic locations around the world.
Yeah, I ended up going to Brazil, Rio, and Peru. A lot of people from where I'm from, they want to go there, and when I was little, I always dreamed of going there.
And even though moving on with life is tough and being away makes it harder to keep in touch with family, his mom and the rest of his loved ones are never far from his mind.
I still love my mama. That's still always gonna be my number one. My brother, my sister, pretty much my whole family, and friends that I call family. And I'll be back home soon.
Until then, he's making sure sailors are well fed so they can take on the mission at hand. Reporting for the 70, I'm Seaman Kevin Harbach.
Alzheimer's disease is the sixth leading cause of death in the United States. Petty Officer Eric Crosby shows us one grandson who laces up his running shoes to raise money to help families cope with an illness that takes away so much.
My grandfather was a chief in the Navy. I wore my uniform at his funeral this past spring, and kind of wanted to do something that, to honor his memory.
Lieutenant David Semko lost his grandfather to Alzheimer's, a disease that affects the memory centers and the cognitive functions of the brain.
It's a very devastating disease, but to be able to do my part now, to try and raise money and raise awareness about the disease in honor of my grandfather, it's truly special for me. It's humbling.
And he's doing it by running 1,000 miles to raise money to fight the disease that took a hold of his grandfather's life.
My grandfather was able to give me my first salute at my commissioning. He did the same thing for my dad, and he did it for me, and it's truly an honor for me to have him do that. And that was pretty much right as Alzheimer's was slowly starting to take over his body.
He set up a website where friends and family can donate to the cause and where they can track him toward his goal.
And that's what keeps me going. There are days when I'm sick or I've been working pretty hard that I can't think about the idea of hopping on the treadmill and getting in 5 to 6 miles a day. But when I think about the people who donated very generously to the cause in memory of my grandfather, and I think about how much he loved the Navy, it really gives me the motivation to get back on there and keep running.
Visit his site to support Lieutenant Semko in his charge against Alzheimer's disease. Petty Officer Eric Crosby, USS Carl Vinson.
Lieutenant Semko has run 470 miles and continues to strive for his goal of 1,000. Kenny Rogers said, "You gotta know when to hold 'em, and you gotta know when to fold 'em." A statement sailors took to heart right here on the aft mess decks as they put on their poker faces for Morale, Welfare, and Recreations Department's Texas Hold'em tournament. I was here to watch the action unfold as all bets were off. Carl Vinson sailors are taking a few hours a week to ante up for a little friendly competition on the aft mess decks for some great MWR prizes.
We play poker every Thursday. Texas Hold'em at 20:30.
There are cards, chips, and winnings. But MWR has turned what some would consider gambling into a contest where sailors have nothing to lose.
It's not gambling because we're not taking any fee. There's no buy-in. We're giving out like an event prize, and we're not taking any money from you. So there's no wagering or betting going on. So it's same as just sitting down to play a board game almost.
Prizes range from simple cash prizes for the first 3 winners to something even better.
Top 5 at the last 4 and 5 place winners. Their names are going to be entered into a pot to win some big prize at the end of cruise. So, and it might be a car, so that's kind of neat.
Whether it's the winnings or love of the game, sailors keep coming back every week to participate in a long-running competition that anyone can enjoy.
People love, this is probably one of our biggest sellers, if you will. This and bingo always have full crowd.
The best way to learn is to play, so if it's something you want to learn how to do, you might as well come to the tournaments to learn.
And with the way things are going, every Vinson sailor will get the opportunity to go all in. Every sailor has to decide whether continuing a career in the Navy is the right decision for them, at the right time and in the right place. Seaman Kevin Harbach was in the forecastle this week when 31 of our shipmates opted to stay in the Navy for a variety of reasons.
Were honorably discharged from the United States Navy this 27th day of February 2011.
2 large cakes, countless shrimp, and 31 very temporary civilians stand by in the forecastle as the commanding officer of USS Carl Vinson prepares to read the oath of reenlistment.
I was very honored to do the mass reenlistment today. As you know, the reenlisting officer, that's a special trust that the sailors put in that person, and to be asked to do that for 31 of our sailors is a huge honor. So I thank you very much to those sailors.
The feeling was definitely mutual, as sailors appreciated the captain taking time to perform their reenlistment.
It feels pretty good. It's good to have the captain here, so that made it a lot more special. Ready to move up in my career and keep on going.
The ceremony took place for so many sailors on February 28th because of the Perform to Serve, or PTS, policy.
A majority of these sailors had quotas that were older than 13 months, and they were set to expire by NPC policy tomorrow. So rather than risk losing their career, they just went for the reenlistment and took what they could get.
62 sailors reenlisted on board Carl Vinson between December and January, followed by 100 in February. And there are at least 43 more scheduled for March and the following months.
Because of the Perform to Serve policies that are in place, we're advising sailors to reenlist as far out as possible, so they don't have to be thrown into that Perform to Serve policy continually over and over.
Almost 10% of the ship's crew re-enlisted on deployment.
Congratulations, shipmates.
Reporting for the 70, I'm Seaman Kevin Harbach.
From re-enlisting to sailors launching aircraft, we all know that every week is busy. And as the captain says, every day is different, which holds true, as you can see in This Week in Photos.
Round, round, get around, I get around, yeah, get around, round, round, I get around, I get around, get around, round, round, 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 I get around. I'm getting bugged driving up and down the same old strip. I gotta find a new place where the kids are hip. My buddies and me, you're getting real well known. Yeah, the bad guys know us and they leave us alone. I get around, round, 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 I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. Get around, round, round, I get around. I get around. Get around, round,
And the Oscar goes to MC3 Patrick Green.
Clint Eastwood! Thought you were dead. Oh, this is just adorable. It looks just like me. I only have a couple things to say, a couple thank yous. Really, the only thing I have to say is thank you me. Thank you to myself. None of you really had anything to do with this. This was all me. No, don't play music. This is my moment.
Shut up! He's MC3 Patrick Green, and it's time for your movie break.
All right, this is a very special Oscar edition of the Movie Break, where I'm only going to review movies that had the Best Supporting Actor Oscar given to them. That's right, you weren't good enough to be the star, but we're going to throw you a bone anyways and tell you better luck next time. I'm going to start by reviewing Inglourious Basterds, the Quentin Tarantino-directed World War II epic, with Christoph Waltz winning the Oscar for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Hans Landa. I recently had a little mix-up while visiting the set of this movie, and well, the clip pretty much explains.
Who wants to send a message to Germany?
It's recording. All right, this is take 3 of my American Idol audition for my eyes only. This is really just for my, I am beautiful, no matter what you say.
Das gehört nicht ins...
All by myself. I don't wanna be all by myself. I guess you could say my singing really brought the house down. Those poor people. Inglourious Basterds is one of those rare movies that comes every once in a while where it's a really long movie, but it's a really good long movie, where you just sit through the entire time and you just love it. You know, you got Brad Pitt, you got Eli Roth, you have all these great actors just filling their roles to the very brim of talent. And plus you got a lot of Nazi killing, and you know how I love Nazi killing. I give Inglourious Basterds an 8 out of 10. All right, next up, we're going to review The Godfather 2 of comic book movies, The Dark Knight. That's right, the Christopher Nolan comic book classic, where Heath Ledger received an Oscar for his portrayal of the Joker, and he was epic. I love this movie. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I am sorry, because you need to sit down, take a couple hours out of your day, and watch this movie. I actually was on my way to visit the set where I had a little bit of a run-in with Batman. Let's check it out. Is Batman just gonna meet me in here, or are we gonna... Oh! You wanted me. Here I am. Don't know why you hit me, but listen, Batman, I had my car parked outside and you kind of ran over it in your big tank.
Where's the end?
No, you crushed my car. Do you have insurance? Does Batman have insurance?
And why do you want to kill me?
No, you were trying to kill me, Batman.
You're garbage. You kills for money.
Do you like it when I do it to you? You're just sitting here barking with me. Ah! It's okay, guys. Everything's all ironed out. I talked to my lawyers, and did you actually know that Batman is Bruce Wayne? It's kind of funny. On all of his paperwork, it says Batman, a.k.a. Bruce Wayne. It's funny. He's a superhero. He should know better, right? But The Dark Knight is just a classic. It is a Class A movie. I mean, I've seen this movie a million times, and no matter what part I walk in on, I just gotta watch it until the end. If you haven't seen this movie yet, I have to stress that you watch it because this is something you're missing out on. I give The Dark Knight a 10 out of 10. I'm MC3 Patrick Green, and this was your movie break.
Sound good?
Yes, sir!
That's what I like to hear.
That does it for this edition of the 70. Hope everybody enjoyed the show, and don't forget to keep studying for advancement. Until next time, I'm Petty Officer Matthew Herron.